One of the most important things that we learned in the course was the 5 key steps to a breakthrough. And the first is be clear on what you really want. And that can be one of the most challenging ones because a lot of us don't know what we really want. We've been conditioned quite often by school, by other people, by parents, by everything about what we should want. But it takes some time to look within our souls, I think, in order to find what it is that we really want. And then use your state, story and strategy to get moving towards what you want. So state is hugely important for Tony. Almost everything about Tony Robbins is about state. It's the peak state that he gets everybody into before he starts talking. He's jumping and dancing, and then he does the full, gets people into a peak state, walking over hot coals before you start learning. Because you're in a state. Your state determines everything about what you're going to learn, where you're going to be, and how you're going to react to the information. So state is everything. Your story then, change your story, change your life, and your strategy. How are you going to plan a step, a map towards what you want in life? And that clarity, he says, clarity is power, and it's very true about deciding. But the most challenging part of this for me is to remove the conditioning that I've been through in life that tells me what I should want. Everything that society tells you, everything that your history and your schooling and your so-called education tells you that you should want, and to go inside and ask yourselves what you really want, to get clarity on that before you move towards it with power. The second step, Tony told us, in the keys to the breakthrough, is to crush your story of limitation. And that is a key thing, isn't it? Because we all in the Facebook group talked about our stories of limitation, and it's the story that we bring around us, our baggage, that can often be the story of our life. I can't do it because of X. I can't achieve this because of X. I can't achieve this because of somebody. I can't do it because of... We all have our excuses. We have an excuse every day of the week why we shouldn't do the right thing, but we also have excuses for every day of the week why we should do the right thing. And our story, to crush our story of limitation, is hugely important. If I can't, then I must. So if somebody is saying I can't do it, then you must do it. I felt that yesterday. I was at the side of the water and about to go into the sea, the cold, icy sea of Ireland. And everything, I hadn't done this since I was a child, and here I am as an adult. And all of that limitations that I've gone around in my mind, which I look back on now as true negative beliefs and limiting beliefs. This sort of brainwashing I had that I could not swim in the sea. It was too cold, it wasn't good for me, and it was not a pleasurable experience. It couldn't possibly be pleasurable. It's too cold, it's miserable. And in fact, having been through it, having smashed through that barrier, and now looking at all that old stuff as being completely the opposite of what the actual reality is. And sometimes, and it's something that I do, if I find something, I have a huge reluctance to do something, I'll push myself to do it. Simply, even just not to achieve the goal necessarily, but simply to try and train myself to try and push through very difficult obstacles. And I think that is a good training for us to do. And I think that sends a good signal to your physiology and your nervous system that you're willing to push through barriers, because you need to smash through those if you're to achieve your goals. Tony talks about a learned helplessness, and he says there are 3 P's. One, that the problem is permanent, pervasive, and that it's personal. And that, we believe that these problems are permanent when they're not. Everything in life is changing. And that they're pervasive, that they cover absolutely everything, and that it's personal. And nothing in life is personal. Sometimes quite often we take everything in life personally, but very little in life is personal. We're such a small entity on a small rock going around a small sun, and we're so insignificant. Nothing really in the universe is personal. So the opposite then is learned optimism. And it's been shown that people who are optimistic achieve far more. And optimism is power. Third key to a breakthrough, and it's an important one, and it's a very interesting one I find, and that's what I feed grows. If you feed your fear, then that will grow. in the garden of your mind. If you feed your courage, that will grow too. And that is so important. And he says to watch your TV, your transformational vocabulary. And Tony talks about this a lot in his books, and it really struck me when I was reading his books, Awaken the Giant Within, is about how a single word in your vocabulary can change your life. That a lot of us use a very limited vocabulary. We say, I like this, I think that is good. But it's even a single word like I'm passionate about something, I feel fantastic, can really change your state. And that's what transformational vocabulary is. By including new and more words with movement and power can really change your state and change your life. And that was a very simple thing that was in Tony's books that really got me thinking. And again, the Irish culture would kind of grate with that. There's a certain reluctance to these kind of things that you shouldn't really be, that there's a bit of hocus pocus associated with using words like passion. But no, passion is what life is all about, isn't it? We should be using the word passion, and we should be bathing in passion itself, because without passion, where is the joy to be? Where is the love of life? And that is incredibly powerful. So what you feed grows. Break your pattern that our habitual words are feeding our destiny. So our habitual words are feeding our destiny, and we need to break our pattern. Our habitual words are feeding our destiny, possibly in a negative way. If our words are very powerless and weak, they're feeding a certain destiny. If our words are powerful and passionate and committed and will break through, then they're going to feed a very bright destiny for us. So that is incredibly powerful. Habitual words are feeding our destiny. Number 4, and another one of Tony Robbins' favourite one, and it's massive action. Massive action is what Tony Robbins is all about. Massive action. So this is what Tony really believes is never leave the scene of a decision without taking massive action. It's the commitment to actually make those actions and commit yourself. As he says, you will never be ready. How you feel about it is not important. You will never be ready. Take the action first, and you will be ready later after having taken the action. And that is almost always the case. A lot of the things that we do, we never feel really enthusiastic about doing them initially. It's sometimes just getting a small little bit of it done that gives us that momentum that pushes us on to actually do it. So get it done first, and then take that massive action to give yourself that momentum and to keep going and to push through that reluctance that sometimes holds us back. Tony says something memorable. He says, discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. And it's so very true, isn't it? That to get in a state of discipline is a relatively easy thing to do. And to even just the reluctance and pushing through that is a certain amount of energy. But regret later in life is devastating, and it's an incredibly heavy thing. So the idea of massive action is to push through that. And he says that nothing is possible. Nothing is impossible in the face of the momentum of massive action. And then, of course, if something doesn't succeed, if something fails, then it's simply feedback. Failure is feedback. And to fail good and to fail often is a good thing. And that's again something in the culture that we need to change, and I need to change. That failure is a good thing, it's a learning experience. So fail good and fail often and learn and come back with a new strategy and a new state to fail yet again, to fail even better until you reach your goal. And to keep moving and to keep that state of constant improvement and constant change throughout life, and to feel that state of growth. And the 5th step that he talks about in the stage of a breakthrough is quite a spiritual one. And he says to give more than you would ever expect to receive. And he says that the secret of living is giving, and that gratitude is the secret to wealth. And really, Tony Robbins, and I know he has his critics, but Tony Robbins lives this in his real life. When he says he's going to give a 5-day seminar or a 6-day seminar, then he gives way more than he ever expects to receive in return. A lot of people did this seminar for free. I mean, people with nothing to their name did this seminar for free and changed their lives within a week. And he's giving that to people all over the world. He also has his philanthropy. He has a charity which has fed 1 billion people around the world, because he had been through something similar. He was so impoverished when he was younger that as a family he benefited from charity coming to his door and feeding his family. And he decided to give that back when he had the opportunity, and he has done that. He's given 1 billion meals through his charity and fed that many people. And that is something incredible, and it shows he is living what he is actually talking about there. That gratitude is the wealth of life, and that secret of living is giving. And it's incredibly important, because some people feel this self-development is all about a selfishness. Sometimes the cynics can say that, when it's the exact opposite. Self-development is all about improving your life so that you can spread the love and warmth and that growth to everybody around you and to everybody around the world. Grateful to him for doing that and for giving me the knowledge to help myself. I'm grateful for everything that he's done, everything that he's written, and the knowledge that he has lived through and he's passing on to people. Look, I've really enjoyed this. My next video is going to go through all of the days of the 7 days, and it's going to go through all of the most important things that I've learned. So look, if you enjoyed this and you want to take part, put in the comments what you've learned and subscribe, please. And let's go through this journey together. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you.